El HP Podcast. Today is the first English episode, and I'm happy that it's gonna be with a community member who's a positive force to our city, to the whole Merrimack Valley, if I'm gonna be honest with you.
Pleasure.
I got Bryan Thomas, professional photographer, and my friend, I'm so happy you're here. I really
Pleasure.
wanna hear your story, and
Appreciate you.
we'll see how this goes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Start with, where were you born and raised?
So, born in Brooklyn,
Okay, so
raised
you're
in
from
Queens.
New York.
Yeah. Spent the first 15 years of my life in New York. Moved in the late 70s. There were hundreds of thousands of people that migrated
Yes.
from New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, down south. So, when I was 15, we migrated south to Mobile, Alabama.
Wow.
And it was
Wait
like
a minute.
going from one planet to another.
What? So how do you end up in Alabama?
My dad's from Mobile. So back in the late 70s, we migrated. We got out just in time because, crack hit New York in the early 80s.
That's right. That was the crack
So
epidemic, right?
we were lucky. We got out in time. A lot of our friends OD'd, ended up in jail
Oh, dude.
from, our community. So in 78,
How old were you when this was happening?
15, we fled. We
So
fled
you're
to
a
Mobile.
teenager going through this epidemic of drugs. How is
But
that?
we got
like?
out.
No, but you had to experience some things as a teenager.
Not while we were growing up there.
No, meaning like, because experience, I don't mean by you doing, I mean by you seeing is experiencing. Like, some of your friends, like,
A lot of them.
so, that's got to be tough. Because
A lot of them.
I grew up in I'm from Honduras. That's a third world country.
Yeah.
So the things I seen, is not normal for a teenage kid to see.
No doubt.
So I was one of the lucky ones who, got out of a very ugly situation. We were very poor, growing up in like very violent streets. So you get to experience a lot of things that you don't necessarily want to.
Right.
But do you think those moments define your character later on in life?
Yeah, no doubt. We realized, me, my brother, my sister, we realized how fortunate we were to get out of New York when we got out. We moved from, Queens. Back in the 70s, you had a large, diverse group of people in Queens. There were Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, a lot of Italians, people from the islands, black, white. Our elementary school in New York, it was a melting pot. We moved from there in 1978 to Mobile, Alabama. In my high school, when we got to Alabama, there were about 1,300 students there. There were 11 blacks.
Oh, wow.
So it was a shock to go from such diversity down to Mobile, where you just didn't have that kind of diversity. But we stayed in touch with everybody in New York. And, a year or so after we moved, we soon realized just how lucky we were to get out of there.
That's interesting that you mention it now, because normally, from my perspective, the culture change only happens when you move from, outside the U.S., like a country like Central America, the Caribbean, and you come into the U.S. But your situation is pretty much the same and within the country.
Correct.
That's a new perspective to me.
Right.
And how do you navigate those waters? What role do your parents play on making sure, you stay a good kid, you follow the correct path, and eventually you make a successful business that you have right now, by the way.
Right.
What role did your parents play on that?
So that's an interesting question because, when we moved from New York to Alabama, my dad and my mom's, their role kind of changed as to how they guided us, because we went from, again, a melting pot, down to Mobile, where there was a tremendous amount of racism.
Yeah.
I can remember one day we woke up and we went outside. Somebody had in black magic marker, my dad had a white car. Somebody had scrolled, a racist word, on the car. And literally it was permanent marker. We could not get it off. He literally had to take it and have the car painted.
Wow.
Kid you not, to get it off of there. And then I remember one day a kid in school, calling me a coon. He called me a coon, right? I had no idea what he was talking about. No idea. So I go home and I tell my dad, Pop, somebody in school called me a coon today. What does that mean? And
What
my
does that even mean?
dad starts laughing. He goes, no, Brian, he wasn't calling you a raccoon. He was calling you a coon.
What's the difference?
A coon. A coon is another racist slur for black.
Oh, wow.
Synonymous with the N-word and,
I see.
So my dad just started laughing. So, kind of what they had to teach us now, still those same things applied as a teenager. Be respectful, be responsible, be accountable, all that. But then there was another element when we got to Alabama, and that was how to, deal with this onslaught of racism, which we just weren't accustomed to growing up in New York.
That makes sense.
So it really was two different worlds. This was the late 70s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a different country, man. It wasn't the same country.
It was almost like two different countries.
Yeah.
I kid you not.
I could imagine. That's why I go back to what I said, right? Like, it's a new perspective in my head. Because to me, that only happened if you were coming from outside the country.
No, it
But
does not.
this country is so damn big, man. It's too big of a country. Like, you could have 20 different experiences in the same country.
You can.
How do you start making your way to photography? Because right now, dude, you have over 100,000 followers on Instagram. And, the followers...
Thank everybody that supports me, too. I do appreciate it.
The followers is a good mark to kind of measure somebody if they're doing okay, right? But honestly, it's the product.
Doesn't pay me a dime, though.
It's the product.
The followers.
Yeah. The product, though.
It's the product.
It's the quality of your work. And then more, because when I started following you was when we met, because you went to do a photo shoot for our team at our school.
That's right.
And all the work I knew from you was from our school. Now I'm seeing so many different schools in your page. I'm like, oh, this guy is really out there.
Right.
How do you start in photography? What got you into it?
So it was always a dream of mine, always from a very young age. I just never pursued it. Back 30 years ago, it was film. So film's a lot more difficult. I think that's one reason I never gravitated toward it, because when you shoot film, it's not like digital nowadays. When you shoot film, you put a roll of film in your camera, maybe 12 rolls, 24, 36, maybe, I think, right? And once you shoot that roll, you send that film off to somebody's dark room to be developed.
That's right.
And so, what film people tell me, because I run into a lot of people that shot film, professional sports photographers that shot film. And what they tell me is just, how lucky we are nowadays to have digital. But with film, you send that film off and a week or two later, you get the film back. You might have 2 or 3 pictures in there. Literally, 2 or 3 pictures in there.
Back then, you used to do all the work and not really know what was in there.
You had no idea. Nope.
Wow, that's right.
So, when I got into the business, which wasn't long ago, I started my business in January of 2018.
So this is fairly recent.
I'm only going on my 8-year anniversary. This coming January will be 8 years for me.
Wow.
So when I got into it, I rolled right into a full frame mirrorless camera. So what that means is, when it's all digital, the beauty of a full frame mirrorless camera is when you point it and you focus, whatever you have in your screen, that's the picture. There was no waiting. The picture's right there.
So you could see the product.
A cheat code. Yeah. So, with film, one disadvantage is if the picture was underexposed, too dark, or overexposed, too light, you wouldn't know that until you got the film back. And of course, now it's a wasted shot.
There was no way to edit it after that?
No. You got what you got. With full frame mirrorless cameras, you look through your screen. If it's too dark, you just lighten
you
it,
fix
right?
it.
If it's overexposed and too light, you just drop the exposure. You fix it right on the spot. And so the goal with, a full frame mirrorless camera is to take the picture and get it as right as you can in camera. Now, I remember when I first started, right? In early 2018, I had no camera. I had no name for my business. I had 0 skills out of how to use a camera. I had no idea what camera brand I wanted, right? In January of 2018, thank God I was, free from corporate America. And all I knew is that I wanted to be a photographer. And so what interested me was when I'd watch a football game, baseball, basketball, I'd be watching those guys on the sideline with the big, long, beautiful lenses. Yeah. And I'd watch them and I just wonder, my goodness, wonder how fun must that be to be at this sporting event, you know, and have a front, because you got a front row seat.
Yes, for real. Like,
It's the best seat now.
And you don't even pay for it, I bet.
No. I mean, I'm getting paid.
Yes, that's the best part.
That's the best part. And so I'd watch them. And so as we got closer to 2018 and I realized, you know, I needed to get out of corporate America before they kill me, I decided. And so initially I said to myself, okay, I want to open a photography business, but I'm going to do it with my iPhone.
How do you build up the courage to pull something off like that? Because a lot of people, you know, they do have these dreams, they do have these ideas, but sometimes we don't build the courage to, you know what, I'm gonna put this on stop. I gotta cut this off because that security is somehow, right? Like,
that's a great question.
How do you build up the courage, man?
And so true. So what happened to me at the end of 2017, I could kind of see the writing on the wall. You know, the back. The knee was in my back, and I knew it was time to go. And so typically what you want to do is when you open a business, here's what you should do, right? You go to your quote unquote 9 to 5. And then after that, you work on your business, right? And you continue to do that because you got to keep the lights on.
Yes.
So you keep your 9 to 5 going to keep the lights on. You continue to build your business. And then once your business's revenue is equal to what you make at your 9 to 5, then you can leave. So you don't, theoretically, you don't take a pay cut. Yeah. That's how you should do it. Yeah. Right. The way I needed to do it to get out in 2017, because I had to go, is I literally just, into 2017 was it for me. At the beginning of 2018, I had no job.
Wow.
So for me, it was jump first and learn how to land. That's not how you want to open your business. You just don't.
But at the same time, having no backup plan, doesn't that like pushes you a little further out to say like, all right, buddy, you can't mess up. There's no time to fool around. You either get it done or you get it done.
Zero,
right?
Zero. Great point, because there is no plan B. Plan B is making sure plan A works.
Right, exactly.
That's plan B. So you're right. The motivation, I'm not sure I'd call it pressure. The motivation, because the one thing I did have, you know, I had some savings, right? So I knew I wasn't going to be generating any income. I certainly couldn't do that. I'm pointing at a picture on your wall. I couldn't do that when I first started, you know? So I knew for the first year and a half, maybe 2 years, I really wouldn't be generating any kind of real income, not enough to support myself. I knew that.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had some money in savings, thank God, and I was able to keep the lights on, so to speak, while I figured out what camera brand I wanted, bought the camera, started to learn how to use it, and then build a business. And, you know, there are definitely layers to that. See, I didn't even post to social media for the first almost 2 years.
Wow.
Because, you know, I knew was I wanted to run this as a business, and I didn't want bad work out there that people could look back on. And even 2 or 3 years later, people can still look back and see bad work.
That's right.
So I didn't want any bad work out there. And so, you know, for me, it wasn't about subscribers. It was about clients. And that's my mindset even right now. But in 2018, my mindset was clients, not followers.
Yes.
Unless you have millions of followers on Instagram, it will not generate any kind of substantial income. It just won't. You make pennies, right? You got to have millions of followers. So again, you know, for me, it was clients, not subscribers. Now, the followers, they'll come.
Of course.
I mean, you know, fortunately for me, I'm blessed enough to photograph high school sports. And so high school students love seeing their pictures.
Yes.
And so, you know, if you put good work out.
And that's the population that uses social media the most.
It is. So that's really where, you know, the followers came from. But again, you know, for me, it was even now when I post to Instagram, it's about a client.
Yes.
Not a new follower, because it feels good when people, you know, like it or say something nice. Yeah, that feels great. But after that,
what's next? Yeah.
just that's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
if you don't
You're
get
right.
a phone call or a text message or an email saying, "Hey,"
Yeah, that like means
I,
nothing.
it really does. I mean, if thank you for whoever likes
Yes.
it. It feels good. But to your point, after that, it just that like doesn't take you anywhere.
Well, I think the main difference here is, you're on social media to promote your business.
Period.
You're not on social media to become an influencer, or a content creator. You are not that.
No.
Because content creators, they depend on all
That's correct.
all of that.
That's
You
a good
don't.
point. That's correct.
So that's
correct.
the separation.
You're right. You're right.
That's right. That makes
You're
a
right,
lot
yeah.
of sense, man.
I don't wake up in the morning looking for some content to create to generate followers. I wake up in the morning to take my camera, go tell somebody's story, somebody that likes my work enough to hire me. So that's my goal.
Yes.
Take my camera, go tell their story. Now, from the pictures I create from their story becomes content.
Yes.
But I don't wake up to create that content. That
Yes.
content is a result of
Yes. And you're smart enough
somebody hiring
to utilize it in this way. Because, dude, today, if you have a business and you're not using social media, you're falling behind.
You're right.
So you're
It'd be
just
hard to
doing
make
your
it.
due diligence
Hard to make it.
and, flipping every stone that's out there available
Absolutely
for
right.
you.
That's right.
Makes sense, man. How is the beginning? Before, because right now I'll say, you're very busy. How was the first years that you weren't very busy? Do you ever doubt it? Were you ever like, man, did I make the right decision?
That's a great question. You know what? I just never doubted it. I just loved sports photography and portrait photography so much. I couldn't wait to become good at taking a picture. I'd follow a lot of people on Instagram and Facebook. I'd watch a lot of videos of primarily of some of the professional sports photographers out there, guys who, work for Sports Illustrated for 40 years and people who shoot Major League Baseball and football. And so I'd follow them. Now, when I first started, I wasn't lucky enough to have a local mentor.
Yeah.
Somebody that I could pick up the phone call and say, "Hey, can you help me with something? My pictures at this football game were a little blurry. Let me send them to you. Can you tell me what I might be doing wrong?"
right.
See, I didn't have that. And I was so desperate for that. So what I would do is I would follow these professional sports photographers, right, on Instagram. And then when I saw a picture they posted, I would actually send them a message. "Hey, this picture looks great. What lens did you use? What camera did you use?" And so a lot of them were so kind. They would reply back.
That's
I
crazy,
didn't know that from
man.
Tom's House Guide. I'm just some guy learning how to shoot.
Yeah.
They're these big time sports photographers that have been doing it for 20, 30 years. But they were willing to at least, now, sometimes it wasn't immediate.
Of course.
But they would most of the time, they would reply back kind of and say, "Hey, shot this with this lens, with that camera." And so I didn't have that mentor. See, there are a lot of young photographers out here, which is great. I just love seeing all the young photographers out at the games,
Yes.
A lot of them are really good. Young people, teenagers. And a lot of them are really good. And so I didn't have somebody to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, can you help me?" And so, a lot of my goal now is to help continue to teach and assist and support.
You want to make sure you're the support that you wish you had.
Yeah, exactly. From where I'm standing, I'm not competing with anyone.
Exactly.
I'm running my business. I don't compete. What I do is collaborate with.
Yeah.
I help teach. Fortunately, was hired recently here last spring to teach an 8-week digital photography course at CSU here, which was just so much fun, so gratifying. And some of those photographers in that class, even now today, call me or text me with questions, send me their work. Some of them send me messages, "Man, Bryan, thank you so much for the class. Yeah. It's really helped me. Here, look at these." And that's very, 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 very gratifying for me. But I'm only in this again for 8 years. And so when I wake up tomorrow, in my mind, that's going to be my best shoot.
Yeah.
And then next week, that's going to be my best shoot. I can look back at work, a year ago, 2 years ago, because I'm really, 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 really critical of my work. Really critical.
I mean, you're so passionate about it. There's no other way to be about it, man. When the passion is there, you take a look at everything. And the fact that you're giving back constantly, I believe in good karma. I don't know about you, but I think that's helping you out too at the end of the day, man. You know, a lot of people, they're a little too greedy. And then they just say, mine, 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 give me, right? And
Right.
they don't think of giving back. And the willingness that you have to sharing your experiences and the knowledge and being humble enough to say, wait a minute, I'm still learning too. So
That's correct.
it's
Sure
okay.
am.
That's super important, man.
Sure.
Having a teacher that's a know-it-all doesn't really connect with people.
No, it does not.
At least it doesn't connect with me.
Doesn't connect with me either.
So you're better off with a mentor who's, you know, hey, I don't know the answer to that. Let's figure it out together. You know, and then through the experience you gather, you help them figure it out, and you guys
right.
figure it out together.
That's
And I
right.
think that's what you do to the community. Was it always sports photography that you were into, or were you open to just any brand of photography at first?
I wanted to be a sports.
Yeah?
photographer. This is what I'm doing right now is literally living my dream. Now I love portrait
crazy, man. I
photography
love
as well because I think they're interchangeable. If you're a sports photographer, you're a portrait. That's a portrait.
Right, that's right.
Right. All the media days I do for you guys. Thank you, Greater Lawrence, and for Lawrence High School. Thank
Yes.
you, Lawrence High School. Those are portraits.
Yes.
What we just did in the gym last week, those are portraits.
Dude, the girls keep asking me when the pictures coming in. I'm like, come on, give him time. You know how much work that man has.
Working on them now.
Yeah.
And they did great. And so those two things are interchangeable. I think if you're a great sports photographer, you could go and you know, do a portrait photo shoot somewhere because they're interchangeable. You're taking portraits during the game. Now you don't have a flash. You don't have any of that, but still, you're still taking a portrait during a soccer, baseball, basketball, football. It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Dude, you know how much I would have paid
Those two things are interchangeable.
to have some of the moments. I played sports my whole life, man. I got 0 pictures of me playing sports.
That's a hard.
Zero. I've been to so many
You didn't
places,
get lucky
to
enough
so
where there
many
was at least
competitions.
one photographer there.
Well, actually, once I got a little bit older, that I started doing triathlons and I started doing open water competitions. But this is the problem: open water competitions. But one of my favorite pictures that I have. We're in the ocean because we you have to swim in the ocean. We're in the water, and all you see is like 200 people, and I know I'm one of them. It's a great picture. Don't get me wrong.
So somebody actually shot the
Yeah,
picture?
somebody shot it from,
Were they in
from
a
up
boat?
top. On
Where were they?
I believe it was a drone that took the picture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there's over 200 swimmers in the water, and then I know I'm one of them.
Right.
And then the other one I'm running, and it's a long one of those mountain races. It's kind of like cross country, but a lot more mileage. And there's a shot of me running, and the background is just mountains, trees, flowers. It's one of the best. That's about it.
Nice.
That's all I got. But there's nothing of me playing soccer. There's nothing of me playing tennis. There's nothing of me, swimming. Nothing. I'm like, man. So when I see what you do with these kids, I'm like, boy, what I'll pay to have one of those moments.
Yeah.
Capture for myself. A little greedy on my end, right?
Well, that's a good point because that's all we have left. When you graduate from high school and move on, what do you have left?
I think that's the beauty of the pictures, man. Like,
That's it.
You have any idea? I mean, of course you do. People love pictures, man. Love pictures.
love
From a
pictures too.
simple phone
You're right.
to, the
absolutely
old
right.
school cameras,
You're right.
People been taking pictures ever since that technology was
they have.
available to them.
Yes, they have.
And why is it so different, a picture that you take from a picture that somebody else takes? Because it's like not even comparable.
Well, I mean, if you're taking a picture with any kind of a mobile phone, now let me just say this first. Mobile phones have come a long, long way.
Yeah.
And you can do some great portrait work, food photography, still imagery with a cell phone. You just can. I mean, there are people out there who run, businesses where when they do product photography, they're using a cell phone.
Yeah.
Beautiful pictures. With sports, though, it's different because a cell phone just doesn't have the built-in technology to do what you do when you shoot a football game, because you got a
The
small
motion,
1-inch
right?
sensor. You can't control the shutter speed, ISO, aperture. You don't have full control. And so you can't shoot somebody in a football game and they're 50 yards away. If you don't have a zoom lens,
that's right.
you can't do it with anything other than a zoom lens. And so you got to have the right gear. Now, does gear matter? Yeah, gear matters. That's always been a big question in the photography. Does gear matter? Yeah, gear matters. But gear only matters if you know how to use it.
Yeah.
And so once you get to a point where you can create a beautiful image at any sporting event, if you have the right gear, man, you couple those two things together, the right gear with the experience, then you can produce great images. And
you go give me the best gear you have. I'll go take the picture. It's not gonna look anything near to what you're taking.
Point. It's about experience, and there's no substitute for experience. You can't buy experience. You can't rent experience.
No, I don't know.
You got to just go live the frustrating day after frustrating day. And I remember going into, do studio photography on a white backdrop. And I would get this nasty shadow on the white backdrop. I put the subject here, but I didn't know how to get rid of it. I'd move the subject up, move them back, move the lights up, move the lights back, turn the lights up, turn the lights down. I was trying everything.
Yeah.
And still, I'd get that shadow. So I'm watching YouTube one night, right? And this guy says, well, if you're a portrait photographer and you want a shadow on your backdrop, just move the subject back. If you don't want the shadow, just have the subject step away from the backdrop so the light gets behind them, completely exposes the backdrop, and you have no shadow. And I said, what? Now, this is like 6 months later. I kid you not. I rewinded. I said, what? I rewinded it. I said, I've been doing all of this, and that's all I needed to do. But I didn't understand how light works. Yeah. Once you understand how light works and you're using strobes, and you can create anything you want. You can make it could be 2:00 in the afternoon. You can make it look like midnight. And I love dark, black, dramatic backgrounds.
Yeah, those are my favorites. So.
But you can't get those until you understand how to use, off-camera flash.
Yeah.
Strobes that are attached to your camera. And so you got to learn that. And so I remember how frustrating it was learning how to use strobes, but it was one day after another, and it's just about the experience. There's no way to shortcut the experience.
No, nothing. Going back to Alabama, how do you go from Alabama to Lawrence? You live in Lawrence right now, right?
I do, yeah.
How does that happen?
Well, that was a very long route. I mean, after I, grew up a little bit, I did 2 years of college in Alabama. Mm-hmm. Was in the fast food restaurant business, and then got promoted and started traveling with them, and moved back to Miami, met my eventual wife in Miami, and her family's here. So,
dude, you've been all over the country.
We ended up moving here 22 years ago, right before my son was born.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we moved here, and I hate the cold weather, but I'd move here 10 more times if I had to, because we needed to be here with family.
Yeah.
So we could have, my son's a beautiful 22-year-old computer engineer now. Yeah. So
is he the only one?
Shout out Isa. Yeah. So it was the right move to come here with family.
That makes sense.
So we could have him here and raise him here with family. But
schools here are so great, man. Like the school system here is one of the best ones. So it's one of the reasons we put up with the weather. The school systems.
I'd love to be, back somewhere where it's warm.
Does he play sports?
He does not.
He doesn't?
No. Okay. He's a computer engineer. Okay. Yeah, so he does the hard, complicated stuff. What I do isn't complicated.
Well, in comparison.
In comparison.
But
I keep it simple.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. I have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm navigating those waters right now, learning on the process. Is it true? We just fell into fatherhood. Is it true that it happens as fast as people tell you it happens?
Does. Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, like this. I can remember his 12-year-old year at Little League, at South Thornton's Little League. I can remember it. That was 10 years ago. But the only memories I have of it now is when pictures pop up on the phone.
Yeah.
Those are just the only memories. And so, the thing with parenthood is you have some of the days are real long.
Yeah.
Days are long.
Oh, for sure.
You're tired, they're tired. You're cranky, they're cranky. You're hungry, they're hungry. You're sleepy, they're sleepy. The days are long. The years go by like that.
Yeah.
Days are real long, but I'm telling you, the years, your 8-year-old pretty soon, he's going to be in the 1st grade. Then he's going to be in the 5th grade, then 8th grade. And then you're going to look up and you guys are going to be going outside, getting in the car, and you're going to be giving him driving lessons. And it happens just that fast. And so, you're already, a video content creator. You've got your YouTube channel. And so you have an advantage because, you know how to use that to make sure you get lots and lots and lots of pictures and videos, because when your sons, you said they're what, 6 and 8?
2 and 8.
2 and 8, right? Well, they're 6 years apart. Yeah. When they're 18 and 12, the only memories you're gonna have when they were 2 and 8 are whatever memories you choose to capture on whatever camera you have.
That's what got me into creating content. The first content I started doing is little Liam, just recording him. And then he, kids, they all watch YouTube. He's like, can we post it on YouTube? I'm like, sure.
Cool. That's cool.
So we built his channel and then we started uploading videos there. But the reason I do videos is the reason you just mentioned, is to have those memories, man.
Yeah.
Because for the first 5 years, it was just Liam. Now I have a almost 3-year-old running around next to Liam. Wow. And I'm like, holy stuff. And I take videos. I'm big with videos.
That's good.
Just because I suck at taking pictures. So I'm learning my way with videos.
Right.
I'm very good at the vertical ones. Mm-hmm. I'm not very good, but I'm getting good at it. This is new to me. I don't know what to do with lights. I put lights on so it doesn't look dark.
Right.
But I still got to learn.
Well, that's the point. Again, nothing complicated about it.
Yeah.
You turn them on so it's not dark.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And then my wife is big on pictures.
Okay.
But she's big on pictures in the sense of she doesn't just take them. She loves printing pictures. I mean, when you walked in, you saw
right.
She prints pictures because I feel like that's something that got lost along the way.
You know what? Such a great point. I mean, prints are impactful.
Dude.
Prints are impactful. You see a beautiful, picture in a football game, right? And you take that picture and print it. I mean, it's impactful. It's just, it tells a whole different story.
God, so different.
When you can produce a beautiful print.
And nowadays you have canvas. You could print them straight onto a canvas.
Yes, you can.
You could have los cuadros, like all of the portraits and all that stuff. And my wife is big on that. I was horrible at it until I met her, and then she's like, no, what are your photo albums? I'm like, photo albums? Right. I got nope. Right. And we have a bunch of albums now. So now we make it a point to constantly print pictures.
That's good.
And they hit different.
Yes, they do.
I could scroll through my phone.
Yes, they do.
And watch old pictures.
Yes, they do.
And some of them are like, oh, wow, this takes me back. But there's something about flipping pages on an album.
Period.
It's completely different, man. Are you big on printing that?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
I could assume.
I've got 4 print portfolios in my car. Yeah. One of portraits, one of sports, one of weddings.
Yeah.
And then I've got one that I do every year from the Little League World Series, because I'm fortunate enough to now, be invited to photograph.
That's crazy.
Little League Baseball every year. And so I produce an album from that. So prints are impactful. You're right. And I carry 4 different, albums in my car, 4 portfolios, so that I could show people prints. Because you go do a family photo shoot of somebody. All of my family photo shoots, all of my sessions include prints.
Yes.
For the reason you just said it. So not only do you get digitals, you get prints as well. My relationship with Greater Lawrence and with Lawrence High School involve, you see the prints.
Yes, of course.
Involve prints, because to your point, prints are impactful.
Yeah, man. I mean, one day you're going to lose that damn phone, and then what?
Right.
But you have the album there. You know how many pictures people lose because they never print them? It's insane.
Well, to your point, when I walked in the house, I saw
immediately
all those beautiful prints. And so
the other half of the staircase, we're still deciding which pictures to print. So you saw half of them. The other half of the stairways, they're just empty.
Right.
Empty. We haven't printed them out yet. Because then you got to choose, right? Okay, which ones do I print?
That's right.
But that's nice, man. Have you ever? This might be maybe never happened to you. Have you ever went to like a wedding or they hire you for like a birthday and like you messed up and then you lost pictures? Did that ever happen to you? Because I hear stories, man, that you do a full wedding. The photographer just goes out and then it turned out the camera didn't have a memory card in it.
Yeah.
Did any like that ever happen to you?
Unfortunately,
Oh, that's tough, man. How do you handle that? How do you go about that?
So what happens is if you have a camera with 2 card slots, that's really how you prevent that.
Oh, okay.
If you do any kind of photography and your camera has 1 card slot and that card is corrupted, you've lost all of your pictures.
Yeah.
So, way back when I first opened my business, I was watching YouTube, right? And there was this guy that is a wedding photographer in Australia, did these beautiful weddings. He moved to Great Britain, right? And he did a wedding for, it was like the 3rd or 4th cousins of, the royal family. But still, they were still connected to the royal family.
That's big.
Well, he did the wedding with 1 card slot and he lost the pictures. The only pictures he had he had a second shooter that did all of the facility. They had this ice sculpture and all this stuff. He followed the bride and groom. He lost those pictures because he had a camera with 1 card slot. So that's the first.
So 2 cards just means both cards are saving everything.
Right. To answer your question, what happened to me was I had a camera with dual cards, and instead of setting it where it took pictures and stored to each card simultaneously. So if you take 1,000 pictures, you've got 1,000 pictures on card slot 1 and card slot 2.
Yeah.
So you're saved. If the card in slot 1 is corrupted,
you have the
I
other
got 2.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it, but I always have simultaneous shooting set up because all of my cameras have 2 slots. Somehow, you can also set it where when card slot 1 fills up, it automatically reverts to card slot 2. Well, the disadvantage of that is now you have half your cameras on 1, and once 1 fills up, or half your photos on card 1, and once 1 fills up, it starts saving to card 2. Yeah. Somehow I messed that up and I had it set like that, and card slot 2 was corrupted.
Oh,
so everything from like the back half of that event, which shall remain nameless.
Yeah. Se dice el pecado, no el pecador.
Oh my God, and it was horrifying. And so, I did that to avoid that. Yeah. And then somehow, that setting, and I know the setting in that camera was set up simultaneously, but at some point in messing around in there, I flipped it back because settings don't just change themselves. So that's a lesson to learn. Now, of course, cameras with 2 card slots, they cost a lot more money. There's a reason.
Of course.
They have 2 card slots. If you're doing work and you want to make damn sure you don't lose any work, you go shoot with one of those. Everything. Yeah. And so now what I do is, I check all my settings anyway over and over and over. Yeah. Even now when I show up to do a media day at the school, I've checked things 3 and 4 and 5 times just like I used to, because I need to make sure when I get to the school, all I have to do is put the trigger on my camera, turn the lights on, right? And begin to have fun with the teams. Yeah. I can't be troubleshooting, going through anything. And so I go through and check. One of the settings I check regularly, I'm making sure that I'm shooting to cards 1 and 2 simultaneously. So that's one of the many checks. Yeah. And that hasn't changed. There's some things that, to prepare. If nothing else, it's even more important now. Yes, definitely. Dude, with technology, because that's the problem with technology. Technology is beautiful, fine, dandy, makes life better if it works. The minute it goes wrong, it's a nightmare. You under no circumstances can you, if somebody hires you right? And they think enough of you to hire you to capture, their story. Under no circumstances can you lose those pictures. Just imagine all that work that went into that media day I just did with you guys.
Yeah.
You saw the reel.
Yes.
So imagine if I call you and say, hey, I'm so sorry.
That's got to be a horrible conversation.
I've lost those pictures.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing you can avoid if you just make sure
you got to prepare right.
That pictures are saved
but prepping up
both slots.
Prepping up is so important with anything you
Critical.
do. With anything you do. Like you have to. It's sometimes, I know a lot of people that they're just, I'll just wing it. Buddy, why would you? Please don't. Like prepare as much as you can, man.
That's a good point. I mean, in anything, preparation necessary, but as a photographer, if you don't go in with a plan, like I even still today, when I go do a media day, I take out my phone, I open up the notes app, and I write shot sheet.
Yeah.
Right? Greater Lawrence Girls Soccer Media Day. And then I put in that shot sheet every shot that I plan on taking. Now, I've done enough of these media days where could I do it without the shot sheet? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Of course.
Could.
Of course.
Again, because it's about the experience. But I don't want to have to think about what I want to do next. Yeah. What I do is I take out my phone. I look at it. I put it away. Right. And then we continue the shoot.
Yeah.
So much easier to just look at the notes.
You have a guide. You have a guide.
That's the plan. So as a photographer, you got a plan. Even when I'm shooting a game, it's about a plan.
Yeah.
Warm up, stretches, football coin toss.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
National anthem.
All the main moments, as you may call it.
Everything is planned.
Yeah. Yeah. And then always leave a room for a little bit of improvisation, right? That's how you say that? My English is a little broken.
Improvisation, that's right. You got it.
Because you have to. Sometimes a random moment appears and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I got to get this moment.
That's correct.
So you got to have that open mind of, okay.
Well, we improv'd at your photo shoot, and here's how we did it. The young ladies came up with their phones. You saw them.
Yeah.
Bryan, can we do this?
Exactly.
So, I have a shot sheet, but you know what? It makes me happy when the athletes now show up and they have stuff that they want to do, because now what that lets me know is they're invested.
Exactly.
They're in.
Exactly.
They're in. Yeah. And so those are great.
That's a good feeling.
It's a great feeling.
What's more complicated? Because I've seen you, man, and the patience that you have. Because I've got to tell you, my least favorite day of the season is media day.
Picture that. A lot of coaches tell me that.
It's my least favorite day.
I just read this.
Not because I don't like the pictures. It has nothing to do with you, or it has everything to do that I coach a girls team, a bunch of teenage girls,
right?
That they're like, let me see that picture. Oh no, it doesn't matter how great the picture looks.
You're right.
They always find something to complain about. So I'm like, man, and you just smile. You're like, no, it's okay. We'll fix it. And you go again. Where do you find the patience, dude? It's
You know what? Great point. Because you know what? I understand that young people, they have a need to really look good. I understand that. Yeah. And so someone will ask me, well, Bryan, I don't like that. Can you take that again? And what I'll say is, you know what? If I take this picture 100 more times, guess what it's going to look like? And then they'll go, the same? I go, yeah, the same. The same.
That's right.
So, I mean, when can you redo that? That's what I say. I said, okay, well, if we take this again, it's going to look like, right? The same? The same. So I get it. Everybody wants to look good, especially if you're going to post that picture somewhere. Yeah. So I understand that. There have been times where I've taken pictures down. People will call me and say, Bryan, you know what? I saw the pictures on Instagram. They look great, but I look fat. Can you take that down? I take it down. Yeah. I take it down. Yeah, I had someone call me and say, Bryan, those pictures you posted at the football game? The girl I'm with in the pictures, we had a nasty breakup and there was a lot of drama. Can you take those down? I took it down.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't happen often. Yeah. Because I go out of my way to make sure if you appear in front of my camera, the lighting is right. Yeah. Right? the posing
look
is right.
as good as possible.
Your facial expression is right. Because you could take a picture of a great looking person. The facial expression is wrong. It's not a good picture.
Exactly.
So I just go out of my way to make sure I get it right. To answer your question, I get it right in the camera. And 99% of having a great picture looks good. I don't have to do a whole lot of editing when I get home because the lighting's right.
You did all your due diligence before taking the shot.
Exactly. And so I can edit, any event, a media day, be it a football game, a soccer game. I can edit those relatively quickly just because I go out of my way to make sure right out of the camera,
That's right.
we have a nice picture.
That's right. Dude, I had a question for you. And this one was compliment of Mike Nelson because he was surprised to find out because we spoke, when was it? Yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. We spoke on Friday and I told him that you were coming over for the podcast. And he's like, oh, for real? Is he going to speak Spanish? I'm like, I don't think he's going to do it in Spanish, but yes, he's got good Spanish. I'm like, so he asked me, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask him at the podcast, where does your Spanish come from?
So I was very fortunate when I moved to Miami in 90. I moved to Miami in like 95. I met a beautiful Dominican woman there. And that's how I married into a Dominican family back in, the late 90s.
So you learned through your marriage.
Yeah. And in the 90s, I don't know how it is now. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same now. But, in Dade and Broward counties, if you didn't speak Spanish, you were at a disadvantage. Because there was such a large population of people there who did not speak English. So you're at a disadvantage. And so I worked for Wendy's International when I lived there. And so, I'm in these restaurants with a lot of people who they don't speak English.
Yeah.
So I remember when I first got there can you ask him this? Can you ask her that? Oh, excuse me. Can you ask him this? And it was painful. And so you know what I did? It was before I got married. I went home. I took these little Post-it notes, those yellow Post-it notes, and I laid out everything in my apartment. And I took a Post-it note and I put it on. I laid out a knife, a fork, a spoon, a glass, a plate, a napkin. And I put a Post-it note
on everything
in English and Spanish on all of that. I had one on the door, the mirror.
That's crazy.
Everything.
Dude.
And so I learned kind of, basic, simple little Spanish from those things.
Like the everyday.
It helped me in the restaurant because now I could go in and say, hey, can I help you with something? Or, hey, can you go take the trash out for me? Or, hey, that was a nice job, appreciate it. Or thank you for your help. I could say that. So at least I could kind of exist on a very, very elementary basis in the restaurant. And then it grows from there, but I didn't start learning how to speak Spanish until I was 30-something. It's not like your sons are growing up learning both language. It's effortless. They hear one or the other. They speak one or the other.
Well, unfortunately, the reality is most of our Latino kids, they don't learn Spanish. Even though their parents,
which is sad.
First language is Spanish.
Sad.
That's the reality of it.
That's unfortunate.
We are doing it on purpose.
That's unfortunate.
Like our job, because listen, they're growing up here.
That's right.
One of them was born here. The oldest, he was brought here when he was 8 months old. Mm-hmm. So they were both, they've been babies here in this country. They're going to learn the language. And they did without us even trying.
That's right.
And people have this wrong idea of, I got to teach him. Because, Latino parents, they moved here, they got here a little bit older, and they never really learned the language.
Right.
So they have this fear of, my kid is not going to learn. I didn't learn, so my kid is not going to learn. So English only, English. And that's such a mistake,
It is a mistake.
It hurts me.
It is a
when
mistake.
when I see a lot of my Latino students, Latino friends.
Can't communicate with you in Spanish.
They can't.
If my Spanish is better than yours and you're 100% Latino, that's a problem.
Do you have a mix? Are you some is there some Hispanic in your blood?
No, I'm 100% African American.
That's crazy, dude.
With Isa, Marty spoke to him in Spanish. I spoke to him in English. Yeah. So now
I'm gonna tell you this: somebody hears you speak Spanish, they will swear
I could get by
thinking you're Dominican.
It's been a long time when I learned it, but when I sit down and talk business with somebody, I don't have the command of Spanish like I do English. And so I don't even try to front and fool somebody to make them try. No.
Yeah.
If we talk business, it's got to be in English so that I can make sure I fully understand and I could communicate, fully to the other person. So, but when I walk into a place now, if everybody's speaking Spanish, I'm not uncomfortable. I can understand a lot
you're
of it.
super fluent, man.
I can communicate. You know.
To me, you're like a Latino honoree. Because you had me fool for a minute.
That's a great way to put it.
When we first met, you had me fool.
Latino
I'm like,
honoree,
yeah, you're an honor 1000%. It's amazing, man. And the fact that you learn it on your own as an adult, which is even more difficult.
Watching novelas.
Right.
Watching Muñequito on TV.
That's crazy. Because Mike Nelson was surprised. Like, you should have seen his face. Like, wait, what? He knows Spanish? I'm like, yeah, dude, he's full Dominican if you're listening to him talk. It's so crazy, man. It's amazing.
I call it get by Spanish. I can get by.
Oh, 1000%, man.
Get by Spanish. But you know what? Unfortunately, your point, my Spanish is better than some of our younger people in this community who are 100% Latino.
Latinos, man.
100%.
Yeah, and that one hurts me. That one always gets me a little bit.
It's an advantage. Yeah. There's a lot of translator jobs out there that you can get if you speak, read, right? And write Spanish.
That's something I'm very proud of what my mom and dad did for us. Because my brothers, I got two younger brothers, one older brother. One of them was born and raised here. The other one came over to the country when he was about 5-year-old. Both of them fluent in Spanish, reading, speaking, writing. Even though their first language and all their school was done here. I mean, they went back to do a couple years, like they did like 2-3 years of school back in Honduras. But dude, they're adults now and they never lost their Spanish. But my parents made sure.
That's good.
And to me, that's the key. So I took that from my parents. I'm like, no, I never lost my language.
That's good.
Why would I deny this opportunity to my kids? So my kids are like, their Spanish is their first language.
It should be.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're super fluent in English. The little one's already talking to me in English.
Well, once they step outside the door, it's English.
Everything is in English. All the movies they're going to watch, most of the music they're going to listen to is going to be in English.
That's correct.
So Spanish is going to be left behind unless we as parents do something about it.
That's important. You're right.
Yeah, man. How was your childhood? I don't think I asked you about your childhood. How were you as a kid? Like, were you like an impatient kid? You're definitely a curious kid. I could tell this much.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. Growing up in the 70s in New York, it was fun. We didn't have iPads. We didn't have, Xbox.
Yeah.
Literally those videos you see on Facebook where they talk about you'd be home when the light comes on. I mean, that was so true. We play around the block, but there was a street light right in front of the house. And if my dad had to come out onto the stoop to call us, then it was too late. But when those lights came on, we rode our bikes home. Yeah. There was no cell phones. There was no social media. It was just a different time.
Explain to me, because I got to live it too. But, if I say it, it might sound a little crazy because, explain to me, how were you and your friends communicating and coordinating everything? Because we used to plan, we used to meet, and there was no phones. Nope. There was no texting. Nope. How do you guys get it done?
Nope. So what we did was there was this thing that they hung on the wall called the phone, right? Back in the early 70s, we didn't even have the push button.
It was
you had to pick it up, right?
Oh, the round one.
You had to dial. Yeah. And so that's how we did it. It's amazing. You had no idea who was calling when the phone rang. No. You just picked it up.
How many parents do you talk to? Hey, Mrs. So-and-so.
And that's how we did it. We communicated with that phone, or you'd run across the street, or you'd run down the block to see if such and such was home, and you'd run back home. If they weren't home, you'd run back down there to see if they were home. And that's how we did it.
That's right.
That's how we did it.
You think we're missing a little bit of that?
No doubt about it. I think we've created a whole culture of young people whose social skills are so underdeveloped that it's scary because they're not out face to face,
Yeah.
right? Interacting with other people. They can't wait to get out of school, to run home, to get to their room, to put those headphones on and shut the door
And disappear
and
from
start,
reality, right?
period, and start gaming. There's a whole generation of kids who literally grew up doing that.
Yeah.
So now when you have to go sit in front of, a group of people to get into a certain college, you're a little nervous.
Yeah.
Or you sit down to interview for your first job, you're a little nervous. The eye contact isn't there. You're shifting, you're nervous because, those social skills are taught just by going outside and interacting with your friends and meeting a new kid who just moved in down the block.
And knowing how to speak to their parents, which was another one, right? Because you couldn't talk to their parents the way you talk to your friends. Like it was more like the line of respect was very clear. Now, do you think the kids nowadays, because I'm gonna tell you, man, I try to understand kids nowadays. I used to be a kid who grew up with no technology, no phones. Phones weren't available when I was a kid.
Me either.
It's so, but I still got distracted. Dude, everything used to get me. I used to see a fly, and I used to snooze out. I try to put myself into today's world with all the distractions around. I'm like, dude, I would have never make it as a kid. Like, I wouldn't survive as a kid nowadays.
Yeah, it's tough.
Because that's the other side of the coin, right? Like, because yes, we got the social aspect of it a little more, but all the world we knew was the world around us.
That's right.
Like, your neighborhood, your school, your parents, your neighbors. Yep. That's all you knew. These kids today, man, they have access to the whole world.
Yeah.
Due to the phones.
And it's dangerous. Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have made it as a kid.
It's
in today's age.
Yeah, it's scary how many of those, missings now pop up.
God.
It's alarming.
God, dude.
Every other post, missing. What's happening to all these kids?
Yeah.
The problem is, to your point, if you're upstairs on your phone with the door closed and locked and your mother and father are detached, who are you talking to?
Dude.
Who are you planning to go meet at the McDonald's and you have no idea who that person is?
Yeah.
And that's the problem now. You have access to, you said it, to the entire world from a smartphone. So that's not a good thing.
So to me, that's the tricky part about it. And that's why, we tried. I mean, I'm an educator too, so I try my best not to judge. I and try to understand more.
Me too.
So I try to put myself into their feet. And I'm like, dude, like I was a little quiet kid. I wasn't really outgoing when I was growing up. But what would technology would have done to me if I had access to everything they have access to? Like, I don't know, man. I don't think I would have made a very good kid if that was the case.
The problem is there's a lot of kids to whom that applies.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah. And it can be used for good things. There's a lot of things you can learn on social media. You can. Yeah. There's also a lot of bad things you can learn on social media. And so our younger generation now, they compare themselves to everything they see on TikTok
it's so unhealthy,
and Instagram.
Man.
It's very unhealthy because a lot of those people on TikTok and Instagram, that $1 million house isn't their house. Yeah. They rented that for the video.
Yeah.
That Lamborghini they're driving, that's not theirs. They rented that for the video. Yeah. They don't live like that. They live like you.
And kids don't understand that.
No, they don't. So to compare yourself to everything you see on social media, to your point, is a very unhealthy. Instead of being grateful for what you have, who you are. And so that's a bad influence. That's tough.
Will you say it's a little more difficult to be a parent now than it was back then? Or I don't even think that's a fair question, to be honest.
No, it's not. No.
Right? Now that I think about it, I don't even think it's a fair question. It's never easy to be a parent.
It's not. I mean, I tell you a story, growing up in New York, if you're running home and you run through somebody's lawn, by the time you got home, that neighbor had already called Pop. And when you got home, Pop had already talked to him, was already off the phone waiting on you.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was the difference. You had everybody, you know, that old saying, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Well, back where I was growing up, that was true.
Yeah. Everybody was your parent.
Because everybody had everybody's phone number. You know, if we weren't home, Pop could pick up the phone and call one of 3 or 4 neighbors. And we were at somebody's house, you know.
Right.
And so, yeah, it now the level of respect to adults has diminished so much to a point where you even wonder, you know, what some of our younger generation are being taught. There's some good kids out there, respectful.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, the ones I have in my team, man, I love those kids, man.
Some good kids out there.
I love those kids.
And I would say the majority of, you know, the young people. Now, see, I'm a photographer. I'm not a teacher. So I'm no threat to these kids. When I show up, it's all fun.
Yeah. Oh, they love you.
Can you take a picture? Can you get Ryan? Can you get a picture?
Yeah.
But a lot of the kids, you know, with whom I interact at both schools are respectful. Yeah. They are. You know, and so, right. I mean, that's the interaction I have with them. But, you know, I've seen some of the kids where I try to take a team photo of a freshman team and they were just out of control. And they were like, you know, I had to be 25, you know, kids in that picture. And it was, you know, I'm trying to get them set up and I'm looking and I'd see somebody, you know, tap somebody on the ear and push somebody and knock the whole row over.
They can't get it together for 5 seconds.
No, it was just one sequence of things, one after another, because the kid needs attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And because I have patience, and it's really hard for me to run out of patience. I mean, really hard.
I can tell.
This particular team photo shoot.
Oh,
I was close because it was just. So finally, we got the picture done, you know, and then you take a team photo. Everybody has to stay still because if there's 20 people in the picture, you got to take 10 pictures because you need one with everyone's eyes open.
Exactly.
That's not just a 2-picture deal. So everybody has to be still and be set. Mm-hmm. And so then that was a challenge. And so what that told me, though, it gave me a glimpse into what teachers go through.
Oh, buddy,
every minute of every day, of every week, of every month. That's just what it did. That 10-minute interaction with these kids who were just wild.
My favorite comment of all times is whenever they say, oh, those kids from that school, they're horrible. Oh, those teachers, they don't do a great job. I'm like, you guys realize we work with whatever you send us?
Yeah. It's a good
That's
point.
what we're working with.
You're right.
Whatever you send us, that's what we're working with, buddy.
You're right.
So if we're not doing a very good job, we might have some responsibility for that. 100%.
That's right.
100%. But don't forget, we're working with whatever you're sending us.
That's a good point. Yeah. That's a great point.
So, you know, accountability gotta be present.
That's a great point. And with some it is.
Yeah.
With some it isn't.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, a few things that our jobs have in common is the gratification.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yes.
Of the end product.
Yes.
Dude, because I seen the every time a good picture comes on and the girls, they go, you know, well, I'm talking about the girls because that's the team I coach.
Right.
But the team goes and then they take a look at the camera. They're like, oh, that reaction. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
It's very gratifying.
Isn't that beautiful? And then as teachers, as coaches, you know, we get that. And it's in the most simplest things.
Right.
You have somebody who didn't know how to pass the ball. And then out of nowhere, you see them connecting a play. Bam, 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 bam. And I'm like, oh man, there you go. Yeah. That's the work.
Yeah.
That's the work. And then you start going back to all the hours you've been putting into this. And then, right, that feeling, that you got to feel good, man. Because and you get that often in pretty much all your photo shoots.
It's a great feeling.
When you show them the picture, like, oh, take a look.
Yeah.
And then you see that reaction, right?
It's a great feeling. Yeah, it is. And it took me a while to get there because until you can take a nice picture,
you get that reaction.
You're not gonna get that reaction. Yeah. Once you learn how to take, and then that goes back to getting it right in the camera. So when I get home, I don't have to do a lot to those media day pictures. I just don't. But I learned it. It was from experience. And then, the challenge now is, see, I know how to take a beautiful image. The challenge now is, can I be unique and creative? That's what all the media days are about now. But, the young ladies show up and, like that makeup shot.
Dude, that's one of my favorite shots so far.
I mean, I've never done that. But that was their idea.
And I haven't even seen all I seen was the reel that you posted I saw it on Facebook first.
That was their idea.
I'm like, whoa, because then I'm looking at the video first of them, posing, and then you get a little glimpse of the end result. I'm like, whoa, that's such a great picture. Right. And, you could tell because they feel, at least from my perspective, from me watching it from the outside, they feel empowered, man. Yeah.
Remember, they came up and said, Bryan, can we do this?
Yeah.
Again, I didn't look at the shot sheet a lot at you guys' media day. Because a lot of those were their ideas. But again, if I can bring a photographer a picture and he can recreate it, man, that's great.
Yeah.
Bryan, can we do this? Yeah. Oh. Bryan, can we do this? Yep.
Yeah.
And so now they're involved. And so that's the benefit of, being with a school like you guys. So this is my third winter.
Yeah.
Doing media days now, coming up on winters, because I didn't join you guys until winter
this
of 2023.
was our second media day only.
That's correct,
and it's
that's correct.
I can see the evolution from the first one to this one. This second one went much better, and the first one was good, and this one was still better.
It's all about the experience, man. Yeah.
So it's insane, man.
All about the experience.
To get I don't know how long we've been filming, to be honest. But we got to be close to an hour. We're going to be wrapping up. But I want to ask you this.
No worries.
Appreciate
you having me.
As somebody who started, this journey to build their own brand, their own business. In 2018, you mind if I ask you how old were you?
Oh, no, because I'm going to get to that. No, yeah. So I opened my business when I was 53.
And that's exactly why I want to bring it
53.
up. That's normally... You see people giving up on their dreams at their 20s, at their 30s.
Right.
Even some of them, that pushed a little harder at their 40s.
That's right.
Please tell us, because this is one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring you in. Tell us that it is still possible.
Yeah.
And I want to hear it from you, to be honest, man. You're on your 50s and you're like, you know what? No, it's 60s. Not too late. Ooh. No, when you started. I'm talking about when you made 53. The commitment.
That's correct.
You're 53 and you're like, no, it is not too late.
That's right.
It's been my dream my whole life.
That's right.
I want to go after it. So please tell us, and don't leave any detail behind, please. Because to me, this is the most important part about this.
Right. Well, I didn't consider the fact that I was 53 at the time. To me, that made absolutely no difference. I didn't even think about it. It didn't occur to me. I didn't say, well, man, not sure I could do this now because I'm 53. I'm not 33. So I'm not sure this is going to work because I love photography so much that never occurred to me.
That spark never died.
Never. No, because I knew if I worked at it enough, if I did it enough, if I took enough pictures, watched enough videos, went back out and took more pictures and more pictures and more pictures, that I could learn how to take a great picture. And so the fact that I was 53 when I started never occurred to me at all, which is why I'm so excited when I see some of our young people out with these cameras doing great work, because I don't think they understand the future. Some of them, there's some kids out there who do really good work. I don't think they understand the future they have, in doing this. And so, for me at 53, one of the things I wanted to do, because, Isa, my son, grew up in Little League. I was president for South Orleans Little League here.
Wow.
Before we had to shut down in 2019 and COVID killed us. But one of the things one of my dreams was I always wanted to photograph the Little League World Series. Now, when I opened my business, do you know how far a reality that was when I first started, because I didn't know how to take a picture. That was something I wanted to do. I'd watch the regionals in Bristol and San Bernardino and Waco. I'd watch, every summer. Because I was in Little League, we'd watch.
That's crazy.
Then we'd watch all the teams that made it to Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Then I'd watch that. And then I remember watching the World Series, I don't know, man, 5-6 years ago. And I remember thinking, my goodness. I remember seeing a shot of one of the kids who homered as he rounded the base, right? They did a shot into the photo well. And there were 5 or 6 photographers in there, long lenses, as the kid rounded the base on ESPN. He passed the photographers. He passed the big ESPN Little League World Series sign. And I remember thinking, my God, how would it be to be there in Williamsport in that photo well? How would it be, right? So tell you a quick story how I got there, right? It's the power of volunteering. See, there's a big discussion in the photography community. Should you volunteer? Of course you should volunteer. Because when you volunteer, right, you show possibly somebody the great work you can do. And from that, they hire you, right? There's also the part of me that volunteers because it's the right thing to do. I give my time to Lawrence Pop Warner, right? I give my time to Merrimack Valley Junior Lancers. I give them my time because those kids deserve nice photos as well.
Yeah.
And so you volunteer for that aspect as well. But there's another aspect where you volunteer because quite possibly this could lead to work, right?
This can open the door.
Oh, yes. So in 2021, I'd only been in business 3 years, 18, 19, 20, 21. I'd learned how to take a nice sports photo. I had a decent portfolio, right? So I said, wonder if I just volunteer to go down and shoot the East Region baseball tournament in Bristol. Little League, they have 10 regions. Well, the East Region is in Bristol. So I fired an email off to Little League International, attached my portfolio. Hey, I'm sure you have your fix. This was in May. This was in May of 2021, right? So they wrap up hiring all their photographers in February, March. This is May. So I knew they had their official photographer already. I sent an email. Hey, I know you got your official photographer. Here's my portfolio. I'd love to go down to Bristol and volunteer, just to shoot the regions, the baseball regionals. Didn't think I'd hear anything because as a photographer, you send over time hundreds of emails. Most of which are never replied to. Some you might get a courtesy, thanks, but we got a guy. Or, hey, we don't have the money. Well, within an hour, somebody replied back. And so I saw the email pop up on my phone. And I was caught off guard such that I thought, is this what I just sent? But no, it was from such and such at littleleague.org. Hey, Bryan, love your work. Love to have you come down to Bristol and photograph the boys regional baseball tournament as a volunteer.
Oh, man.
So in 2021, I was elated. I couldn't believe it. Paid my own way, drove down to Bristol, Connecticut. Now it's Bristol. So I never imagined I would see that field from the photo well. Because being in Little League, I always wanted to see that field from the dugout. But, we never made it that far. In Little League, you got to win districts, you got to win sectional, you got to win state before you get there. It's a lot of baseball. So I can remember the first day when I drove into Bristol and I walked into and seen this beautiful facility. I was like one of the kids. And then I remember when I got the opportunity to walk on the field and get in the photo well and take photos of this East Region tournament, the winners, which would end up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. So in 2021, I got that opportunity. And I remember this was right after COVID. This was 2021. So in 2021, there were no fans allowed at either any of the regionals or the World Series. No fans, right? So it was, kind of an odd scene because I'd look up and the only people that were in the stands were the parents. Those were the only ones allowed to watch the games. But yet I tell you, man, it was an absolute thrill. And so it's just 2021, I showed up, I think, for the opening ceremonies or so, drove home. I had 2 small weddings to shoot here. And I went back the following weekend. So I started off with the beginning of the tournament. I think I did the first 2 days, drove home. I had 2 small weddings to shoot on like a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Remember in 2021, all of the people that 2020 were going to get married, they pushed all those weddings. So there was a lot of weddings out there to shoot.
Yeah, that's right.
So I did the 2 weddings and I drove back down to Bristol because I wanted the championship games. You want the banner games.
Exactly.
Those are the games you want to photograph.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I did that. We're done in 2021. Didn't hear anything. In March of 2022, I get an email. Bryan, we'd love to hire you as our official photographer in Bristol for both the softball regionals, which is the girls softball, and the boys baseball regional.
That's
and again, I read the invitation. I read the email. I thought, really? So I got to go to Bristol in 2022, right? And do the girls softball regional. Now, you know, the neat part about when you're a photographer for Little League photographing the regionals, you're the only photographer there.
Wow.
So every picture coming out, and then again, there's 10 regions around the country. Every picture coming out of those regionals come from one photographer. So all of the team photos, umpire photos, any media requests, everything gets sent to Little League International. So everything that appears on their Instagram page, those are all my photos. And so it's pretty neat.
That's crazy.
And that was 2022. And so, of course, after she sent me the email saying, we want to hire you for the softball and baseball regionals, my reply was absolutely.
Absolutely.
What about Williamsport? What about the World Series? Right? And so she came back, no, we have all of our photographers hired for 2022 for Williamsport. And I said, could I volunteer? I kid you not.
Dude.
Could I volunteer?
Oh, that is such a great answer.
Now, remember,
though.
they had just hired me for softball and baseball. So they know my work. They said, absolutely. So I went to Williamsport in 2022 on my dime.
That's right.
Had just, man, the opportunity to get into Lomity and volunteer stadiums. And just TV doesn't know justice. If you've never been to those World Series games, man, spectacular.
There's nothing like being there, present in the moment, man.
That was 2022, right?
Wow.
2023, I get an email in March. Bryan, we want to bring you back to Bristol, you know, to shoot softball and baseball regionals, but we want to hire you for the World Series as well.
There you go.
So the power of now, if you volunteer, you better be ready.
Yeah.
You know, you got to take advantage of the opportunity. To your point, that the door, get your foot in the door. Man, seize the moment. Do great work. You know, be responsible. Get the work to them on time. Do more than you are paid to do. Yeah. If you do more than you're paid to do in any industry, but especially as a photographer.
What's the saying? Success is when preparation meets opportunity.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And so, you know, I made my own opportunity because I volunteered. But when I volunteered, I went down and I did great work for them. And so, you know, now it's been 5 years doing the regionals. And this past,
so they kept you around.
Last August year was my 4th year at the World Series. And I'm telling you, it is just, as a photographer, you know, that's up on one of the bucket lists to get full access to both of those stadiums, you know, pre-game, post-game. It's just, it's wonderful. But again, you know, when I got the opportunity, I was ready.
You made sure you were 100%.
I was right up on the bucket list. You know, another thing, I wanted to get my bachelor's in digital photography. You know, I was running my business for 7 years already. But in November of 2024, I got my bachelor's in digital photography.
You never stopped,
61.
Wow, that
61.
is such an amazing.
So no, it's never too late. It just, you know, if you have the drive and the passion to do it. I did like this, right? And any and all negative noise, I eliminate it.
Cancel it out.
I eliminate it. Yeah. Because you can't listen to people who are going to try to drag you down. You can't. Surround yourself with family and friends who are supporting you, which is what I did. And still, you know, even today, I mean, I'm very thankful for everybody in this community because a large majority of my work comes out of the 2 high schools, but now there's a bunch of other high schools and parents and teams that hire me to do their kids' media days and their kids' photo shoots. And I'm very thankful for that. But, you know, one thing you can guarantee, if you hire me, you're going to get more than you paid me to give you, and you're going to be satisfied. I can control
That's
that.
beautiful, man.
So I make sure of that.
That's beautiful.
You know?
They say, right? Effort is non-negotiable, right? That's a choice.
It is. You're right.
That one's 1,000% up
You're
to
right.
you.
You're right.
And again, man, this is the main reason why I was very eager to have you in here. And our very first English episode, by the way. Yeah. This is amazing, man. Like my English held up.
Your English is great. Your English held up.
But it's, dude, with all honesty, the inspiration behind it, ever since I met you, I'm like, I got to talk to this guy. There's something about him. There's something about it that it just hits different. And after, spending a couple of days with the swim team, with the soccer team, and seeing you around with the other sports. But this time that you brought here, man, I really do appreciate it. Yeah. You're an inspiration. Dude, you inspire me so much, man. And it's dreams, you can make them happen.
Yep.
With the right mentality, with the work ethic, and the humanity behind it, meaning be willing to be good to others.
Yep.
Have the patience.
That's right.
Have the respect towards the work, have the respect towards the profession, because all these little things got to add up, because at the end of the day, they're not so little.
Yeah,
and you bring the full package to the table, man, and to the community. You do inspire everybody, man.
I appreciate it.
Because at 53 years of age, and to say, no, my dream has always been this, and I'm gonna go after it.
Yeah.
It really moves people. And I really hope somebody along the way watches this video. I don't know how many people can watch this.
Right.
But you already got me, man. You got me on board.
I appreciate it.
And I am very thankful that you gave me your time. You gave us your time.
Yeah, appreciate the invite.
Please come back whenever. This door is open for you 1,000%. And I'm very glad to have you here. And man, I can't believe we met, man. I consider you my friend already, ever since,
Likewise.
And
likewise.
Hearing your story just makes it that much better. And it's a pleasure to me, man. I'm very thankful for it.
I appreciate it.
All right, my man. I think we'll call it a day.
Sounds
my
good.
Friends, if you made it all this way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments. Mobile Magic on Instagram and Facebook. Are you on YouTube?
Very small YouTube channel. I don't do a lot on YouTube.
You do, okay.
Most of it is
most of it is on Instagram.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Can I give my socials?
Please,
you just did.
Please.
It's Mobile Magic Sports, Mobile Magic Portraits, and I have a small wedding Instagram, Mobile Magic Weddings, and then I've got two websites, mobilemagicsportsphotography.com and Mobile Magic Portrait Photography.
Make sure you send them to me, so I'll link them in the description of the video.
All right,
because people gotta find you, man. Because not just for your work, of course, your work, because your business it deserves to keep growing. I don't know how much more you can handle, dude. You're so busy.
Bring it on.
It's incredible.
Bring it on.
But you also gotta tell me the secret on how you stay so damn healthy, man. Because it's not normal. If you ask anybody your age, they will never guess it.
They wouldn't guess 61, no.
Ever. I will give you like 43 at most.
It.
It's amazing, and thank you for everything you do for the community, man. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you guys around.